This is my video, the new working version of my video that I've used, the one I used to have with the ball cap. And this one is for business and medical professionals, people that own companies, doctors, chiropractors, you name it. And it just appeals to them desiring to have extra income, not for the sake of the income, but for time, so they can have time for who they love and whatever else. And then this is the tool. So you can see the questions right there. And the key to this, the most important thing of all, is to make sure that people are honest. They really speak from their heart, because otherwise you're going to have issues with it. You can see at the bottom, there's a little white space there, so you can put some notes in there. So the time they want to work could be different than the time that they are going to want to work with you and work together with you to build as their sponsor, as their team leader, whatever that might look like. And you'll have a chance to ask questions when we get done with this part here too. So the next thing is I just ask them this. Now remember, we're not talking about your average person who wants to just get into LifeWave and maybe get to manager. We're talking about people that want to get to director and beyond, right? So ask them, what would an extra, or whatever number you want to use? If you want to say an extra 1,000 or 2,000, you know the person you're talking to because they're your brand partner. You likely know a little bit about them. Then I would just say whatever you feel comfortable. What would an extra $2,000 a month mean for you? In this economy, I'll usually throw in. For most people, that's a lot. That would be a game changer. Then right here, once you reach director, senior director, do you want to keep ranking up? And this question is for you on the call here too now. Do you want to go higher than just director? Do you want to go above just senior director? And remember, when you hit senior director, that means you've got at least a director, and it doesn't even have to be on the left and right. It's just 2 directors active and at least $10,000 unit level volume, which is basically your projected volume for the next 30-day period. When you hit 10,000, that's a senior director. And the beautiful thing about LifeWave is all of the rank advances from senior director on are all based on volume. And this is another thing, you talk to people about direct marketing and they'll go, oh, I've been there, I did Amway, blah, 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 blah. The problem is their understanding is that they're going to keep building their business. And as they rank up, they got to invest more money and they got to do this and they got to bring on more people. Not with LifeWave. Once you hit senior director, it's all volume. The next after senior director is 50,000 in unilevel volume, and that will be executive director. But you also have to keep 2 active directors, and it doesn't matter if they're both on your left, both on your right, one on each, or whatever it might be. Then the reach director, senior director, you want to keep ranking up, that type of thing. The next is, what's a realistic daily method of operation for you? Contacts per day, per week, etc. They always talk about it with This Is It team and with Champion Makers, the DMO, right? Daily method of operation. Danny's got that chart. You talk to 3 people a day, you'll talk to this many people in a year. And then that is how many people you talk to, that is an original conversation, and then follow up. And remember, when let's say your goal is to talk to 5 people a day. If you talk to 5 people new that are on 3-way calls and things like that with your brand partners, that counts for your goal. If it's with you directly to that person or with a 3-way call with your brand partner as you're helping them grow and build, that counts toward your goal. You got to be realistic again. That's the key. What is a realistic daily method of operation for you? How many contacts a day, how many a week, etc. And then ask them, what are some of the joys that you've had with LifeWave? Oh, I've felt better. I've watched people in my life feel better. Whatever that is, again, that's not a right or a wrong. It's different for everybody. My joy is watching my son and my son-in-law grow income to where I know it's not far away from both of their families not having to be concerned about paying bills, working other businesses, doing whatever else, that this thing will explode and carry them where they want to go. That's a joy like you can't believe for me. A joy of mine is all of the different things that have happened in our health. My wife and I having more energy, sleeping better, blah, 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 blah. What are some of the main frustrations that you have with LifeWave? And listen close. This is really good. A lot of these are going to come up probably in back office, has been my experience. But it's going to be something like, man, I signed somebody up and then I pulled the trigger and then the software didn't work. Whatever that might be, it could be something that they're not doing right or whatever, and that's perfectly okay. And then you'll be able to help them and guide them with that. I love my standing desk. The next one, again, are the frustrations there. Just really, if they say, well, I don't really have any, just kind of pull it out. Just say, hey, have you had any problems signing anybody up? Have you ever had an issue with this? You know that maybe you've experienced, and that'll help them a lot. The next one is, what do you wish that you knew more about LifeWave? And here's where you can find out, you know what? Sounds to me like this person needs to spend more time in champion makers, going to school and studying and doing those things like that. I have people say, man, Pat, I don't like going to Google because there's so much stuff out there. I never do. What I will do is I'll go to This Is It Team Facebook, and I'll type in the search with the magnifying glass, I'll type in a condition, I'll type in heart or whatever, and then it pulls up all those different posts and stuff in there from our team. But then it also has maybe 30 or 40 or 50 comments, so you start to see what other people say, how they've got results too. So that's a really, really good area to learn more about LifeWave. And then just in general, if you've got a question you can't answer, I surely will either be able to answer it or find the answer for you. But I haven't had too many I haven't been able to answer lately, because most questions are the same. They really are. What are the areas where you can use my help the most? Wow. Now that is a really, really important thing. So basically what we're looking at here is, where are their weaknesses? And we're not coming out and saying, what are your weaknesses? Because no one wants to talk about their weaknesses, but where can I help you more? That will spark that. Okay. And then what do you feel are your areas of strength that you need my help the least? For me, talking to people, doing call, I don't need anybody to help me do three-way calls. Now, that's not to say that that's the way it is for you or for your brand partners that you're going to be helping. Some of them might say, oh, I don't need any help, but they're dying secretly. Or really, they aren't that good at doing those calls on their own, at least where they're at yet. And then as they get better and better and better, you kind of can release them. You know, it's my whole model of ministry that I've led my life by. Jesus taught people, and then he had them teach people, and then he let them go and leave them alone and let them do their thing on their own. And that's the way I like to do it too. I like to share it, and I want to share it with people and then I let them share it with me. And then I just say, hey, sounds good. I think you're ready to blow this thing up. The next one, are you willing to do three-way text calls with me? And then I ask this, reluctantly, or are you excited about doing that? Because that's important. You want to find that out. Like, oh man, I'd rather really not. I don't like bothering people. That's a good thing to find that out. You want to find out if they feel like they're a bother, if they are going to do three-way text and calls and things like that. Three-way texts are amazing. This is what you do. I tell people all the time, if you're going to introduce someone to me by text, basically let them know that I hung the moon, I can jump over it and probably pull it down with a lasso, right? You really edify me. Then you edify that person a little bit to me in the introduction. So it would be something like, man, John, I tell you, I've been telling you a little bit about these patches, and I want to tell you more, but I'm not, I'm still learning, okay? But my friend Pat, man, I'm telling you what, he's seen results like you can't believe. His wife has had this happen, and this has happened, and blah, blah, blah. And Pat, this is John. He's a great guy. He owns his own business. And I think that this is something that would be so perfect for him and his wife, their health, whatever that might look like. And you create that bridge, then guess what happens? I can jump in and go, wow, it's so nice to meet you. And I look forward to sharing more with you. Then I take over and I become the expert. So I can do this with someone who is 1 day old in LifeWave or someone who's been doing it for months. It doesn't matter. There's people that have a personality and whatever that can just jump in and do this and have no questions, worries, whatever. And other people die 1,000 deaths whenever they got to talk to anyone. Number 14, are you willing to be accountable to me and the other leaders in your life who really truly do have your best interest in mind? And that's the key. And I love this definition. We have the idea of accountable of a 12-step program, and I need somebody to keep me accountable so I don't fall off the wagon and go out and get drunk this weekend. That's not the word accountable at its root means to account for someone's ability. So it's a positive. I'm going to account for your ability. Don, I see you on here, Donald Williams. If I know that you're struggling in an area, I'm not going to point out the fact that you're struggling. I'm going to point out where I know you can go because I know your heart and I know you've told me X, Y, Z. And then we're going to be like, okay, all that's left now is how we're going to get there. And then at the bottom, it says tools, Zooms, websites, my tools. So there are tons of tools. We know all the different Zoom calls that our teams have. I don't ever say don't be a part of those, but you're going to have people. I've got people on my team who are going to be some of the biggest LifeWave representatives probably in the world. I believe it with everything in me, but they're not going to be jumping on Zoom calls. It's just not their preference. And then the other thing is we've got so many different websites to be able to access. My go-to now for sure is startx39now.com. That is the best designed website. One page, you can see anything that you want on there. You don't have to click tabs, try and find this, go to this. But I love their website, and it's a doctor. So that's even, more cool for me. And then the tools I've developed, like this tool right here, these aren't tools I got from anywhere else. These are tools. I pray a lot about this business, and I pray for people in our business. But I'm always looking for a new tool that's going to help an individual who's not comfortable necessarily going out and talking to the world and telling the world about it, or helping to build a team or to grow a team. But with tools, they can just pick up the phone and go, hey, what are your desires? You're wanting to get to be a director. Are you willing to let me help you? And I've got these questions. Can we take 45 minutes and go over that? And one after another, after another, after another of my brand partners have said, yes, let's schedule that time. Let's do it. And I'm going to continue to develop tools because here's the thing. There's a lot of people who aren't comfortable going and talking to their doctor about LifeWave. Am I right? I mean, it's just reality. And so there's two things we can do with that. One is we can just get over ourselves and go do it. And I hear that a lot. But the fact of the matter is there's some people who just don't want to, or they're not going to. But everybody can say, hey, John, Dr. Smith, I have a 4-minute video, 5-minute video that a friend of mine made. I really want you to see this. This is talking about other doctors and business professionals who are retiring earlier and things. Whatever you want to do, we can even get a script written for that. So when people share that, and then you go into the place where there's a hair salon and you got a friend that's there and you let them watch this video. I already know I've got one friend who I blew it with by just trying to get him to sell the patches and whatever. If I would have sent him this video first, he would have been all in. Why? Because they're like a bartender. All they do is all day is hear people complain. I got this pain going on and this is happening and whatever. And all of a sudden you've got a person who is a senior director in days. And that's the other thing is when you want to build people, you want to grow people to those higher ranks, find people who are hungry and you'll see them. You'll find those. Danny calls them responders. I love that. I was a responder. Joe Duggar told me that this is what this is it and this is the thing and all this kind of stuff, right? But he is a doctor. So I don't have the time working with him that I would if I would have been sponsored by Danny McDaniel, or that you guys would have if you're sponsored by me or working with me, whether sponsored by me or not. When I started out, I didn't have anything. So I won a trip to Sweden, Marcia and I, on the way there and on the way back. I watched video. That's all I did. And I learned and I learned and I learned and I learned. And it said, your goal is to get to manager and do that in a month. That's a good goal to get to manager. I got to manager in a day and a half. Why? Because I was hungry. I got to director in about a month and I got to senior director in, I don't remember, 6 weeks, something like that. The 90-day goal to get to senior director. And it'll be probably about 8 months that I get to executive director. But I haven't been focusing on trying to rank as much as I've been focusing on trying to help and build people that are under me. And some of them it's just to get to manager. Some of them it's just to get a couple people brought into their organization. So those are really some really big keys. I'm going to have an opportunity for people to ask questions and whatnot. For those of you, and we're going to do that first, and then I want to get into this right here. Right now, I am going to stop sharing and then give an opportunity to open up for anyone that wants to ask a question, all relating to building and helping people rank up. This is a perfect time to ask any question about building or whatever. It's a small group. Sometimes when you're on a big Zoom call, you get lost. And that's one of the things I like about doing these, from time to time. And if you guys like these, I'll do them from time to time just to kind of go over some of these tools or whatever.
Feel free to ask any questions. This is a great time to ask questions. Pat has built his organization the right way with the right principles. So, I know sometimes there's questions I can't answer because I just don't have the time involved yet, but you guys feel free to ask any questions because Pat is a plethora of information. That's my new word for today. Thank you.
I have a friend that I've been, prospecting for a while right now. But at the moment, he told me he wasn't interested. But the girlfriend, he said, is so smart and she will be good at it. I said, okay. What's going to happen is I'll make a schedule, for us to kind of get on three-way calling. That way, both of you can get on on three-way calling, and then we can go from there. My question is this. Is there a way after I finalize, the three-way calling to give you a call? That way I can take you from, we can get on three-way calling with them.
Yeah, absolutely. All you do is you call someone, like you would call me, and then, or you would call them, and then you put them on hold, and then you call me. And so that would create, you can do four-way calls.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just so many different tools that we don't utilize that are going to get into making this thing the most successful. To me, it's just despicable that 6% of the people that get into Lifeway become managers. That's a this is it team statistics. That's crazy. With a product like this, people start having results. You should be watching managers popping all over the place and beyond. And it's like 1% that get to director. It's a ridiculous number. And Danny and Diane, when they were in Cersei, they had some really good things to say. But one of the things Danny said is we need to quit talking about who are 4 people that you love. It starts there. Let's talk about a lot of people that you love and you care about. And so you look for opportunity. I had somebody the other day that said, what would be really great is if we had a video for pastors. We could take this, send this video to a pastor, and the pastor who is totally against network marketing I can appeal to him and say, sir, ma'am, understand that could be how you feel, but there's people in your congregation who don't feel that way, and they love network marketing, and they're ready to blow it up and put that money back into your church, and appeal to those elements in that pastor's heart. So I'm in the process of writing that. The business medical professional video that I made, that addresses anyone who owns a business. That addresses anyone who's a professional and anyone in the medical community. That's why I did that. My other video, my 7-minute video where I introduced the patch and I introduced the concept, that's for people who are in the general public. They may, who knows what they do for a living, but they're not the business professional, medical professional, or a pastor or whatever like that. So we've got 3 tools right there that we can send, and I know they work. This is what I started doing day one. I created my videos and I started sending them out.
Okay, now with those videos, for business owners and the medical professionals, at what stage, take for instance, I have their numbers, I have their name, and then I'll give them a call. And all I have to say is, please, if you don't mind, can I send you this video? That way you can see what it's all about. Would that be?
You can do that, but you can also, if you've got their mobile number, you can just text them the video link.
Okay, good.
You don't have to call them. Just say, hey, I am in, and I'll work on a script. If some of you have an idea for a script for that, by all means, send them to me. We'll work on them together. Hey, we're a team. But I do that all the time. Hey, this is something that I found. My doctor, my family doctor, introduced this to us, and I just want to share it with you. And then I send him that text, and then I'll wait for a little bit, and I'll get back to him and say, I'd like to get you some more information. Can we talk? Then I get him on the phone, and I use my script, right? You guys have got those tools, and I'll make sure if you don't, that you'll get them. The phone script, I've updated the package script, but yeah, they say I'm interested. I definitely want to start. Then I use that script every single time if I'm not in person. But if I'm in person, I use the script without, having to memorize it. I get the basics of it. Hey, we got 3, we got the core, we got the advanced, we got the premium. Core, and then I go through and I read it. I read the script. And right now I'm totally doing this ad lib, but you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between this and if I was reading a script, because I just practice, I learn, and I get my inflections down, and I say things so I know it doesn't sound like I'm reading it. And when you write a script, if you want to write scripts, I can help you with that too. I actually wrote an ebook on doing marketing, so I know a lot about doing that kind of stuff. I had a lot of experience. You don't write a script to make it grammatically correct. You write a script so it sounds like you do when you talk. I just appreciate all of you. We have the best team in the world, no question. And this is my overview of my tools. I'm not going to go real in depth with it. You're going to get a copy of this as well if you want it, but you'll see down at the bottom, tool 1 is the quick start. It provides the materials to help onboard a new brand partner, determine their wishes as far as the use of the patches, and desire whether or not they want to build a business, right? If they have a desire. If they wish to build, it provides you what you need to help them build their list, create a game plan, and get them started building, helping them move forward in LifeWave. Tool 2 is the sales process. This gives you the guidance, including scripts that you use for those that you have relationships with, or brand new people that you meet. It is proven and very effective. How do I approach people after they've agreed to a phone call? What to send them after the call? What to say if they express interest to ensure they are enrolling in the right package? And of course, the form to enroll. And the last one is the public prospecting guide that I was just talking about, where you meet somebody who's a total stranger in public and you take them all the way from that first meeting to making them a brand partner. This is a little bit more of a breakdown of the tools. I'm just going to skip over that. This gets into the actual tools. So the first part is the 30-minute onboarding. And this is really, really important. And instead of just going through each of these on here, we'll break them down faster right here. Okay, here's the 30-minute onboarding. And this is something that you actually will send to your new brand partner. Welcome to your new LifeWave journey. This will get you set up and help you enjoy the best experience. 2, watch this onboarding video, take notes. So helpful, only 18 minutes. There's a box right here that they'll be able to click on, and that will help them to begin to, they'll watch Brittany's video, which is so good. Her onboarding video is just tremendous. The next thing is complete these actions recommended in the video, and I even put in the video where they're found. 6 minutes, 26 seconds of the video, you join 3 Facebook groups she talks about. Go to Champion Makers, join small group text thread, join school. Then when you're done with that, text me and call me and let me know that you finished the video and completed the actions. The last thing, stay connected with me. If you just send this out right here to your new people, they're going to have what they need to be able to take off and run. Now, what's great about it is that this does give you kind of a barometer to see where they're at. If they don't watch the video, or they don't let you know they've watched the video, there's something they're probably hiding, or there's something going on that you need to look into. Maybe there's an emergency in their life or something. That's important. The next thing then is they say, yep, I'm done. Man, that was awesome, blah, blah, whatever it is. Then you do this. You call them and say, hey, we're just going to take some time now. I'm just going to go over some questions with you that will help steps in the process. And the purpose of this is to follow up with you, and after, that you've got a chance to watch the video, and then I can field some questions and kind of do whatever, like that. So you also want to take time to stress water use and electrolyte intake and things like that of general use with the patches. And then just ask them the question, hey, do you have any questions after watching Brittany's video? And then answer the questions that they have and offer any help if needed. 2, do you understand this is patented science and not a will it work technology? That's really important to go over that with them. And then I just say, hey, it's really important to know that patches always do something every time in everyone given enough time. Even if we can't see or feel something, in the first few days, thousands of genes are reset, for example. And you can even turn that into a question of its own. Wouldn't you agree that if 4,000 genes reset in your body, something changed? And then see what they say. Most people are going to say yes. And then you can always go back to that. Whenever they're saying, I don't know if anything's happening. Remember the 4,000 genes. Keep talking about that. Those of you who were with me in Pine Bluff the other night, what did I say? We have 4,000 genes that reset. And then I said, that's a mic drop moment, and I can drop the mic and we can all go home. And this is the mentality that you have to have. If you don't look at it that way, and it's okay if you're not at that point, but if you're not, then I would do all the reading, all the research, whatever it takes, so that if someone said to you, what if it doesn't work for me? That you know, that's impossible. Something has to happen, right? So then 3, okay, so is there anything else that you need to see this as technology that will absolutely do something for you? It sounds like you're beating a dead horse, but I'm not trying to. I just want to make sure that I get done with this question time and they aren't thinking in any way, shape, or form that this is something I still have to have proved, right? Now, there are people that are going to want to see something, and that's okay. I'm not saying that, because you're going to have that happen. But the key is, what do you think? And how do you look at it? And if you look at this as something that's foolproof, in the sense that when those genes reset, your life has changed forever, just from that alone, then you're on your way to the right place. Number 4, do you have any questions about how to use the patches? You want to know. Yeah, wow, I really do need to know how to use these patches. And then, do you want to share this with others? And that's when you're going to find out, yeah, I'm going to wait and see what happens. This is going to be my thought process, and it's not right or wrong. You don't want to try and get them to say, yeah, I want to build a business. You want them to tell you a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. You don't want them to be convinced by you. Then brainstorming and list building. There's a video, right? So you click to watch the video. That's right here. It says click to watch video. This is a place where you can actually copy the URL for the video and send them that link, whether it's a text or whatever else. But they watch this video right here and then kind of go from there. So what this does is, like it says here, right by that kind of looks like a patch almost. With this process, there's 3 pieces. First, send them the video on brainstorming and list building. Have them watch it, 6 minutes. It's really short. After they've watched it, send the document used for creating the actual list of names, etc., which is right there. They print it, they fill it out, and then, they start working on whatever. Or best is you call them and say, hey, I'd like to do a little exercise with you, basically what's in that video that you just watched, or you can do it on your own. And if they want to do it on their own, let them. That's okay. But as they're going through the end of the video, they pause it and it says, who do you know that owns a hair salon that wants more health? There's 3 or 4 different pictures of that in the video. And then the last one is, who do you know with the name? Patrick, Don, Mary, Bill. And you just start going through those lists and you go, oh yeah, that's right. Mary, she owns a hair salon. I need to get a hold of her. And all of a sudden you got that thing just really going to town for you. Then the next thing you're going to do is, and remember, this is a person who said they do want to build, right? Because if they don't say that, when we go back to this part right here, number 5, do you want to share this with others? If they say no, or I'll wait, or not yet, then you just kind of put that on the back burner and be watching, and you make sure they're having a great experience and follow up with them on using the patches. But if they say, yes, I'm ready to share, that's when you get into doing the brainstorming, doing that kind of stuff right there. And then you build a plan with them and set some basic goals. Help them establish their why. What is their reason for wanting to build a Lifeway business? And there can be a lot, and they're not right or wrong. It's what's right for them. Establish some of their basic goals. I want to make X amount of income a week, a month, or whatever. I want to pay off a debt, a car, credit card, whatever that might be. I want to build a retirement account. I want to give a lot of money. That's one of my wife and mine. Look at their list and prioritize their contacts. Help them. So they go, all right, I got these people. All right, who are the family members? Who are the people that you love the most? All right, let's get those started. Now, if they're like, man, I've got these people that I know are the kind of people that will run with this, well, then get them on, because then that's going to get them the manager, 2 on their left, 2 on their right, core or above. Man, they're ready to roll. So help them prioritize that list, and then set up 2-way and 3-way calls. If you're comfortable doing so, have them introduce someone to you by text, then call them without the new brand partner on the line, okay? Without, did you catch that? Without the brand partner on the line. This is not recommended at first because you want your brand partner to learn how to do 3-way calls. So I just described 2-way calls. So Don says, Pat, I've got somebody I'd like you to call for me. I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm not really sure about doing a 3-way call. If I text him and say, I really would like to hear from you, or you're so busy that you just don't have time to make those calls, well, guess what? What did I say? If I'm going to make 10 calls for Don today and they're all introductory calls to people who are expecting a phone call from me, then I just did my 10 if that's my goal for the day. That's pretty cool. So will I do 2-way calls? Yes. Will I do 3-way calls? Most assuredly, and I really like to do 3 more than 2, simply because then you're learning how to do them as well. Ongoing desire. Are you wanting to personally build? In other words, are you wanting to just build a lot of people with you and share a lot? Or are you wanting to start building a team right away and helping other people in your organization build? And that's something that I've been doing. And get and keep them connected to all these tools and the Zooms. I'm not saying don't use Zooms. The Zooms are amazing. Then this is our script, but you'll get that as well. They'll be in the tools. We read them, right? Me and my guys. You may be familiar with some of this. A friend's doctor introduced him to this technology that actually causes our bodies to heal themselves. Now, that's strong, isn't it? It uses a little patch. So what are you doing? You're talking about me, but you're using this as it was your own script. And you get to the bottom and you start telling your own stories. Then if you got somebody who is really interested and they're wanting to sign up, then you're going to sign them up. You're going to go over the different packages and whatnot. But if you got somebody that's holding back a little bit or whatever, then you send them this with a text. And I tell them, hey, I'll get back with you here in a little bit. Set a time. I'll get back to you in a week, or I'll get back to you. You know, you got a few minutes right now to look at this? Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll get back to you in a half hour. Or, you know, I will tonight. Okay, I'll get back to you in the morning. Whatever that looks like. It's different for everybody. Then just go through that. They'll see those things. And then at the very bottom is the link for the startx39now.com. And I want people going there unless they're here and they say, all right, this sounds great. Where do I do next? What do I do next is one question that I get more than you can imagine. And I'll say, glad you asked. So we have basically three options, and I read this script word for word. But if I've got an individual, I'm going through all the stuff at the top. Then I go to the core, you have patches to get started, maybe use with a loved one. Then I come back around, and after I've talked about auto ship and the importance of not using this as a may at work type product, then if it's an individual, I go over Core Advanced Premium. If it's a husband and wife or whatever situation, I'm going to go over Core Advanced Premium that way as well. Then I'm going to sign them up, and there's the form. The other thing that I did, the other tool, is the prospecting guide. What I mean by engage, set, engage is you're doing texting, and then you go from just general texting to, hey, I enjoyed being with you. I enjoyed meeting you. Some people just make our day as we travel, and you're one of them. And we use all kinds of different texts like that. And they're all in here too, by the way. And then you do the engaging back and forth, and then you set the appointment. Then after you set the appointment, you engage with them again. And I even talk about how to do that in here. And then you do your presentation, put them on a Zoom call, whatever you want to do, and start them. And again, the reason that they use Zoom so much is because you don't have to do anything. All you got to do is get people to a Zoom call. And I still recommend that highly. But if you have people that maybe aren't, wanting to go to a Zoom, or they tell you they're going to go and they never go, then you have these tools. So compliment them, ask questions, share testimonies, harvest information, stop and set. And stop means just stop talking. Don't overdo it. You just met a total stranger with this, and you don't want to drown them, right? You want to drip. Then the text thread is right here, and there's all kinds of stuff. I even teach you how to use shortcuts. But these are lots of questions that you can ask people that you meet in public. And here's some of my actual text threads. And at the bottom, you'll see the power of text shortcuts. I type M7 on my phone, and it pulls up, hey, this is a little video that I made that I think explains very, very quickly how this technology works. Then it's got the whole link that's this long, but I get all of that to pull up by typing M7. And so I teach you how to do all that on here too. That's a good overview of all the tools that I've developed. I am going to come back here now. I'm going to stop sharing and open back up for questions again.
Yeah, I appreciate all that you have on this, and I am interested in learning about some of those shortcuts because I talk to people all the time. But
Yeah.
I'm excited about learning some of this other tools that'll help
Good.
in what I do.
Yeah, Don, there's nothing like having to type a text over and over and over when you can have it ready. And when you can put a video on, not on your Facebook post, I don't mean that, but on Messenger, and put it out to a bunch of your friends, all of a sudden they're going, okay, yeah, I got to know more.
I have a little testimony if we got time to share it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, my wife went to the ortho the other day. She has a tooth pulled, and I'm sitting waiting for her. And so I started talking to this couple that there before they go in. They're from Monticello. And then another lady walks in and she hears what's going on. She, can I take this information too? And so I just started sharing with them. So I give them Randy had shared with me, get the Start X39 now. And so I gave that to him and I said, oh, by the way, would you like my phone number or my name? Yeah. And I said, how about my phone number? I said, you watch that. And if you want any more information, give me a call. And so that's just one of those things, like Randy said, just keep dripping away. And
Yeah.
I haven't heard back, but
Yeah,
when the-
well, one thing that I do is whenever I'm out there, I always get their phone number and then I tell them I'm going to send them a video and then I follow up with them. And it really makes a difference because I used to give out my business cards. I used to do a lot of different things and I still use them. But if I've got somebody that's willing to, and almost everyone is, then I get their number. I say, hey, I want to share this with you right away. I want to get your number. Then I get their number. Like if it's an Uber driver, get their number. Then I send them a text. You know what? My wife and I travel quite a bit more lately than usual. And some people just really make our day when we travel. You're one of them. I appreciate it. Boom, we got that camaraderie going back and forth. We've complimented them. We built that relationship. We started it at least. And then we just drip from that point. But I always start out, and one of the reasons I ask for their number is it lets you know how interested they are really fast.
right. Well, I actually did that to the guy at the hardware store yesterday, and I sent him it. I haven't followed up with him, so I
Yep.
got to do that today. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very eclectic right now.
That's exciting, Don, because all you control your own destiny with that. And I didn't do it with this call, but anybody that wants to, like if you want to do this or anyone else, I can get a flyer made for you. It says Ride the Wave on it. And basically you just put your name and number on there and you go into a business. You're not soliciting. You're going into a business to tell them about a Zoom call that's coming up that you want them to know about, or an event that's going to be in the area. Pine Bluff, when we did that event there, or if I do one in Little Rock or something like that, you can take those out and just go business to business to business to business and just say, hey, by the way, if there was one thing you could change about your health, what would that be? Now you got a relationship that's budding, and then you can get their cell phone number and share information with them. But you've got an opportunity with that, Don. You can just go in and just say, hey, have you seen this? We're going to be having a Zoom call. I'd sure love for you to get on there. Not one person's going to say there's no soliciting because you're not selling anything. You're opening a door to talk to them about technology that can change their life.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So,
Hey, Pat.
how are you?
I'm good. I wanted to know, you said you have different scripts for like pastors, sales associates, beauticians, things like that. Really?
Okay. So actually what I did is I made a video that is for business professionals and medical professionals.
Mhm.
That gets the whole wide gamut. I started thinking, man, I could do one for salon. I'm like, oh my gosh, where would I stop? So I
Mhm.
made one for them, but I'm also working on one for pastors. It's going to be a totally different approach. It's going to be an appeal to the people who are in his congregation, her congregation, that really would love to have something like this. And not only that, but the people who need what are they? The two leading prayer requests: health, wealth,
Mhm.
all the time. Health, number one; finances, number
Yeah.
one or two.
I do a lot on Messenger as well,
Yeah.
but there's something specific to send out on Messenger, or
Yeah, what I do is I put the video that I made of it's called Rejoice with Us.
Mm.
And all it is 13 minutes of the guy that was the quad for 37 years, the 3 or 4 autistic children, the guy that was blind that could see his hand and then see his wife, and then finally be able to have his son say, hey, does that mean we can play catch with a football? I mean, who can watch that and not be in a puddle of tears afterward? You have to be almost subhuman. And so I'm putting those videos out there, not on Facebook itself,
Right.
but I'm going to try and experiment. I'm getting ready to put one on Facebook because I don't talk about LifeWave. And that's another thing I really recommend. I'm very careful about using the name LifeWave. I don't talk about X39. For my public Facebook, I just do stuff to make people thirsty. Today, I put a thing on there. If you enjoy one of these things in your life, what would it be? And I haven't looked. I haven't seen how many responses I got, but better sleep, pain management, whatever it might be. And then I put a color background behind it. As much as you can, try and have a picture or some kind of color thing when you do Facebook, or else your text just gets lost in a sea of
Right.
stuff. But Messenger is amazing, because what is everybody on Messenger? Your friends. So you got John and you go, hey, John, look at this video. And then they watch it. And then I can't even tell you how many people I've seen that have acknowledged that they at least got that from me, by putting a thumb up or whatever else.
And where can I
I'm
find that?
going to go after this with a vengeance, because I agree, everybody needs to use it. I mean, I
Right.
just do. So, anybody else have any questions or thoughts? Randy?
Pat, I'm sorry. Where can I find that video at for Messenger?
Oh, I'll send it.
Because I know there are a few folks on here that are fairly new from my side, and I would just say, just don't get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I remember about 3 months in, I became really overwhelmed with the Zooms and the back office and all of that. But just use the tools that work for you. We're not,
Yeah.
Pat is not saying that if you don't use every one of these tools, then you just might as well not even build a business. And
Right.
and there are Zooms every night between Champion Makers and This Is It. We don't expect you to be on every Zoom.
Yeah, we're not.
But we do expect you to know about the tools. And that's exactly what we're doing today. I know my team has another Zoom at 8 o'clock tonight. So we're asking you to be on 2 Zooms on a Saturday, which is challenging in itself, but just use the tools that work for you. Don't get overwhelmed. And when you do feel overwhelmed, call
Reach out.
someone and talk to them about it.
Yep.
And we can help you with that. But like Pat said, we are a team. This is the first team concept that I've ever seen in the area of direct marketing. I haven't been involved a lot, but the other direct marketing I was involved in, there was no team. It was me. And you have a team here, and these people want to help you. So allow them to. Don't feel like that you're infringing on somebody else's time if you call them, because
Right.
that's why we're here.
Right.
If we weren't going to be here for you, then we wouldn't have started this ourselves. So
Yeah.
don't get overwhelmed. Use the tools that work. And if you get overwhelmed and you have questions, make calls. You got our numbers.
Yeah, Randy, I agree 100%. It wouldn't bother me if you didn't use any of the tools even. I mean, that would be the other extreme, but for some people that's okay, right? But I'm assuming people are on here because they feel like there's got to be some more tools besides just jumping on Zooms. And that's why I developed these. And I'm going to continue to develop them. And if you think of an idea, throw it my way. I think it would be really cool if we could.
But I think the shorter videos with our time span and the culture we live in, if it can be shorter, I think it's better.
I keep them organized. I've got 10, 15 videos that I can go to in a second and I can get them. All right. God bless all of you. And I'll make sure that that everybody gets that was on who gets a copy of this, and then you get the tools. I'll make sure.
Thank you, Pat.
All
Thank
right. You bet. Take care.